Drata's got an API which we can use for all sorts of things, like pulling out the users in the Drata platform or updating evidence that's going to be used for some of the audits. So a quick way to use the Drata API is to utilize the free tool Postman, which is fantastic. On the Drata developer docs website, so developers.drata.com, we click on the Drata API documentation. We can see there's actually a Postman collection, which we can follow these instructions, which is a case of simply downloading. And then I'm just going to create a workspace. It's a blank workspace. And let's just call that Drata Postman and create. Now, within my collection, we want to do an import. We're going to select the files, that new swagger.json we just got. And then if we look at the instructions, we need to view the import settings and change it from the default, which is paths, to tags, which mine's already got. So that's fine. We can import that. Now that's just importing the Drata collection. So we now have these collections and we can do some simple things, such as getting a user by the ID. Now there's a few things that we may want to do before we do this. Here we can see in Drata we need an API token and we've got a base URL defined. Now we can define those. Now there's multiple ways to do it within Postman. The way I like to do it is to create an environment. So I'm just going to call that James Drata environment. Now, if we look at the collection, we can see the first one is the base URL. So I'm going to add a variable for that. And if we come back to the docs, we can see we've got two base URLs. In my demo, I'm utilizing this EU instance. So that's going to be my base URL. And then if we come back, we can see we need a bearer token. So I'm going to copy that variable name, bearer token. And now we need to put the bearer token in. Now, before we do that, we should be able to see the authentication for the bearer token of our API. It's not listed on the docs. So if we open up an API, we can see here the authorization and then bearer. And in fact, actually, Postman handles that for us. Yeah, because we've got the auth type as bearer token. So we just need the API token here. So if we come back into Drata and click on your name and go to settings, then from here we want API keys. And we'll just create a new key. And we'll call this Postman demo. We can set the expiration. And then what we want, if we want all read, all write. So I'm just going to do all read for now. We've got our API token. Let's copy that. And then we can paste that into here. Now we just need to save this environment. Perfect. And we're going to check in Drata that we've got the API token and done. So we'll come back to Postman and we look at our collections and we're going to get the personnel by ID. Now we can find the personnel's ID if we come back to personnel dashboard and we click on a user, clicked on Adele here, we can see their ID is 27 from the URL bar. So we're just going to simply update the URL to personnel 27, click send, and we get an unauthorized. Fantastic. Why did we get an unauthorized? So we should be sending authorization this bearer. Okay, I know why we're getting unauthorized. Very simple. Postman, I didn't select the environment, so we're not selecting the API token and the correct base URL. So we're going to update this and then click send. And we've now got the response from the API. So user 27, their user ID, their email address, their name, job title, and all the extra information about that user. So this is just a very quick video on how to download the Drata Postman collection and do our first API call.